Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you are, and welcome to Wimbledon School of English. So my name is Jane Dancaster, and I'm the Managing Director of WSE. It's great to see you all here. As you can see, I am live in my office. The school has actually been open since March last year. We've got a great buzz this week. We've got 115 live full-time students here from over 30 different countries. And it's been like that for a while now. So it's a really great atmosphere here in Wimbledon. And we can't wait to see you and to see your students when you can travel. Today, we're going to talk about juniors and what we're doing with juniors this summer. So here with me today and giving most of the information, we have Adam Mathews, who is our juniors operations manager. We have Fiona Dunlop, who is our principal. And also just to say hi so that you get to know him a bit better is Patrick Harris, who some of you know is looking after the junior bookings for us. So now I am going to hand over to Adam.
Thank you very much, Jane. So Jane's given us a little bit of background about what's going on in the school here at the moment. I'm going to talk, or we're going to talk in this webinar purely about what's going on with the juniors in summertime. And as you can see, we have two venues this summer. So we are back at Lord Wandsworth, where we've been for a good 6 or 7 years before the COVID pandemic. And we also have our juniors in Wimbledon. And I'm going to talk you through a little bit of the differences and the similarities that we have between these two courses. So both of them, of course, are in the southeast of England. Both of them are very nicely situated. So for Heathrow Airport, it's very convenient. As for Gatwick, Wimbledon is only 20 minutes away by train from central London. And Lord Wandsworth College really is only about an hour and a half away from central London as well. So it's a great place to go out and explore lots of different parts of southeast England. So here are our courses. I will go through them with you. Looking first of all at our WSE Juniors in Wimbledon. So these are homestay or own accommodation students who come over. They can be aged between 12 and 17. You can come in small groups or individuals. The dates of the course, so the dates of the course will start in the 12th of June. That's a Sunday, because all of our arrivals and departures in Wimbledon are on a Sunday, and that will run all the way through till the latter part of August this year. We have 15 hours in total tuition. I'm going to show you actually how that breaks down by week. And this, the most exciting thing I think about this whole thing, this whole juniors in Wimbledon, are our excursions. So we're out in London almost every day. We go out in the evenings as well. We go to some really nice restaurants to take the kids, and we have a full day excursion as well. And in case anybody wants to come to Wimbledon and learn a little bit more about tennis, we also offer tennis coaching as an optional sports activity. So moving over to WSE Juniors at Lord Wandsworth College, I assume that some of you who are watching will have been to Lord Wandsworth in the past. We love that place. We can't wait to go back. We're going to effectively have two schools. So we will have the younger school from 10 to 12 and the older school from 16 and 17, and the 13 and 14-year-olds will kind of go either younger or older, depending on how they are. I mean, we talk to them. This is one of the reasons that all of our students have speaking assessments, so we can see how they are as kids, and we can decide if they would prefer to go lower, younger or older. So this one is from the 10th of July until the 6th of August. The accommodation is all in these Harry Potter style boarding houses, and our arrival and departures days in Lord Wandsworth are different. So students arrive on the Sunday and they depart on the Saturday. They can come anytime, so minimum 1 week, maximum 4 weeks. And this has a little bit more tuition. As you can see, this is 18 hours. And activities almost every afternoon as well. We go on a few more sort of all-day excursions, but I will show you that as well. And our optional sports academies for Juniors at Lord Wandsworth College. We offer tennis coaching in Lord Wandsworth, and we also go out to a local stables and do horse riding and equestrian, looking after horses. Jane knows. Jane knows a lot more about that than I do. All right. This is our timetable here. And so in Lord Wandsworth, this is basically the standard timetable that we've been working off basically since we started. So we have 3 hours a day in the mornings of general English or green leaders. In a moment, I'm going to go and explain a little bit about the difference between those two courses. And we also, after lunch, we have skills workshops, a little bit of rest time, and 4 afternoons a week, we're doing sports and cultural clubs. Again, I will go into a little bit of that. This is a typical summer school, so we have evening entertainments every evening. If we show a film, it will only be after a full day excursion. We don't really show films. These are all interactive things with our evening entertainments, and I will talk a little bit more about those as well. Right, looking at Wimbledon instead. So here we can see that actually we have lessons 5 days a week instead of 4 at Lord Wandsworth. And our lessons, they are 50 minutes each. So it turns out all of that, general English or green leaders, plus the skills workshops, end up as 15 hours per week. But you can also see in the afternoons, we go and take the kids out to all sorts of different places. We show them, we give them a real London experience while they are here with us in Wimbledon. And we want to take them out into as many different places as we can. And as you can see, one of our evenings out will be to go to places like Hard Rock Cafe and TGI Fridays and places that the kids really like. So our general English course has a great reputation because of the quality of our teachers, the quality of our systems. They're all about communication. So it's about helping kids to communicate better in real life through role plays and discussions. We teach kids how to listen not for individual words, but listen to a whole sentence and read as a whole, not as individual little parts of a sentence as well. Students study all parts of English, so they will practice writing. They also have one-to-one tutorials with their teacher where they talk about progress and how they can do better in the future. Meanwhile, we also have our green leaders. This is a completely different thing. So our green leaders course, although it's the same time as general English, it is aimed at students who are B2 or above, so higher levels of English, and 14 and over, because this is for quite mature students. That's because this is a challenge. This is a real challenging course. We take a problem-based approach to this course, which means at the beginning of the week, we set the students a problem. We put them into groups, and as groups, they work together in a multidisciplinary way using all sorts of different skills to come up with a solution to that problem. There are no set solutions. This is not project-based learning, or nor is it task-based learning. It is much more open than that. And in order to, because we are not defining what the students have to get at the end, we actually install micro workshops. So every day there will be a workshop for the students on improving different skills about what they're doing at that time. So the workshops could be how to research, how to judge data, whether it's good or bad, how to write a good business letter, how to resolve conflicts, because there's lots of working in groups. So our green leaders, from every week, it changes. So we have a different topic every week, and the topics, like we can see down in the bottom green corner down here, could be about greening the school, or it could be planning a life on Mars. We would promote the next big thing. That could be an artist, or it could be a product. We would look with the kids at setting up ecological businesses, all sorts of different things, taking all kinds of different approaches to solving problems. And these our 5 C's of 21st century learning, well, they actually go through all of our courses, in particular the green leaders, but all of them, especially the skills workshops as well. And our 5 C's, so these are things that we build from the bottom. These are the foundations of our courses and the things that we think are the most important things for kids to learn. Critical thinking. They need to learn to communicate. They need to learn to work together in groups, to collaborate. We want them to express their creativity, and we want to build their confidence so that they are confident, able young people going out into the world. Now, I mentioned that we also have skills workshops. So you've seen a little bit after our main classes, both in Wimbledon and at Lord Wandsworth, we have these skills workshops. Some of them are available at both places. So for example, our filmmaking and online communication and our debating presentations and public speaking workshops, which generally are our most popular ones. They are available both in Wimbledon and at Lord Wandsworth. However, some of them are only available in certain places. So for example, the London Explorer is very much based around being in Wimbledon. Whereas the Football Academy, we make use of the facilities at Lord Wandsworth. And so the Football Academy is only available at Lord Wandsworth. All of this is in our brochures as well. And if you need any more information, we will tell you a little bit later who you can contact if you need to know anything more about this. Okay, what makes our school so special? I mean, we have Lord Wandsworth, for example, has superb facilities, both for sport, both for leisure things, both for classrooms and the accommodation. Lord Wandsworth also is one of the safest places, safest private schools in Europe. We challenge students in a different way. So maybe a standard summer school, kids will come, they will do some activities, they will get a certificate. We push our students to learn different things and to go home with not just a certificate, not just a photograph, which they also get. They will also have learned things while they're with us. Obviously, they will make friends with people from all over the world, and we integrate movement throughout the day. So we start off our assemblies, both at Lord Wandsworth and in Wimbledon. Our assemblies are all about getting kids up and moving, doing different exercises in order to get their brain running for the day. And we use these exercises again in classes, again in different activities. All right, so I'm going to specifically talk about our Juniors in Wimbledon program and all of the different things that we are going to be doing in this program. So here are our full day excursions. This program runs on a 5-week cycle. So it's effectively two summer schools of 5 weeks. And because we're in London, we can give students such a more engaging time while they are with us. So we take them to the typical Westminster walking tour and the London Eye, but we also take them along the South Bank and go into the Globe Theatre and into the Clink Prison Museum. That wasn't too easy to say. We take them a little bit out of London as well. We will take them around some of the wizarding sites of Oxford, but we will take them on a river cruise to Greenwich and into certainly the Queen's House. At the moment, we're not entirely sure whether we go up the O2 or whether we go into the observatory in Greenwich, but it will be a very good excursion anyway. And the Tower of London is always great. Our optional excursions, so students can either choose to stay with their homestays or stay with their families, or they can come and join one of our afternoon activities on a Sunday. And we've got all sorts of different active things. So Flip Out Wandsworth, for example, is a trampoline park. The one at the bottom, Go Ape, is climbing through the trees on different ropes. We go to Legoland Windsor, Madame Tussauds, of course. Okay, so we actually did this course last year when there were almost no summer schools running. We thankfully were able to run. It was a small summer school, and this probably is not representative of how this year's course will be, because we already have bookings from all sorts of different places that are not on here. But we've tried our WSE Juniors in Wimbledon. We've improved it a little bit. We're very proud of it. So I'm going to hand over to Fiona, who's going to tell us a little bit about the accommodation in Wimbledon.
Thank you, Adam. Such enthusiasm. I'm really looking forward to it already, just as we start to remind ourselves about it so much. As Adam said, we ran WSE Juniors last summer, and it was just a great experience for us all. Of course, it was small, but so few people were traveling last year, and to have these kids arriving in Wimbledon was just such fun for all of us. So I'm going to just outline where the students stay when they come to WSE Juniors in Wimbledon. They stay with our tried and tested homestay partners. So we've worked with 250 families for so many years, and these families are tried and tested. They all do safeguarding training. They know what they're doing with young kids, and they know how much freedom to give them, and how much to nurture and look after them to make sure that they get a great experience from us. The students all stay in twin rooms. They can stay in single rooms if they wish, so just let us know, and that would be available for a supplement. Some of the older kids might want single rooms, but we think that the younger ones really do like to have that shared experience with someone from another country where possible, of course. Full board, so we provide packed lunches for them so that they can have their lunch and then go out and about in London on their excursions. Maximum journey time to school is 25 minutes door to door for each of the families. So the students are all living in the local area, which again is important. This is important for our students in the adult centre, but also now for the kids with us as well. It means that they can get to and from their accommodation and from school so easily, and also so cheaply, because it doesn't cost very much, you know, if they can walk or they take a short journey. So very near to the school for all of the accommodation. Older students, 14 to 16 years old, they will walk to and from school in pairs or small groups, just to make sure that they're safe. So they're going together, but they have that independence. The younger students, 12 and 13-year-olds, our staff will walk with groups to and from school, just to ensure that they know what they're doing. When I talk about safety, I mean, sometimes even for adults as well, safety in walking to and from host families can often be to do with just crossing the road in a different country. So we will have a member of staff there to help them with all of those little things while they're with us. So that's our accommodation. I think Adam's got a few slides here just to show you what some of the accommodation looks like. And so here we are, real host families, real students. That's Elaine there sitting in her conservatory, lovely big house that she's got. Elaine is also our registrar and one of the host families that's been with us for years. And then the next photo is again one of our students, typical single room here, nice and bright with his desk for him to do some studying afterwards, although normally the kids are so tired that they don't do much work at their desks afterwards because they're exhausted and fall asleep. So I think that's our accommodation. And I'm now handing over to Jane, who's going to talk a little about why Wimbledon, and a lot of you will be familiar with this as well.
Hello everybody, me again. So I'm just going to share my screen, so bear with me for 1 second. Right, and I think actually most of the people on the call, you know Wimbledon pretty well, but and you know that I think it's one of the best areas in the whole of the UK. So I've now been living in this area 34 years. I first moved here when I was having my daughter. I moved here to be near her grandparents, to be near my parents-in-law. I was looking at childcare help and options, and I accidentally ended up at Wimbledon School of English, and the rest is history, as we say. So I'm not originally from here, but I think it's the most fantastic area. And we're also very lucky, of course, that it's famous, and this is why, for the tennis. So it's a lovely green leafy area, but it has great facilities and great connections. So here you are in Wimbledon, looking out at central London. You can see the London Eye and so on. It's a very prosperous area full of wealthy professional families, which creates a great environment for our students to study and live in. So just a few facts about Wimbledon. It's quite a large area. It's got a population of 90,000. It's got really good facilities. All the things that students enjoy doing, they can do here, such as shopping, going to green spaces, meeting their friends, although obviously the youngsters are going to be a little bit more controlled. They won't be meeting their friends on their own, but just so that you can see you know, what a wealthy professional area it is. And it has the highest percentage of young people going to university out of any area in the UK, which gives you an idea of the kind of people that are living here. And of course, as you all know, It's got great connections to go in and out of central London, so that's really good when we're taking the children up there every afternoon. It's a direct train route. It doesn't involve lots of changes and so on. Really simple, really easy to keep them together, really easy to go on these excursions. And just a few pictures. If you don't know Wimbledon, this is our shopping centre, which is always popular with the students. This is Wimbledon Village, which is a very pretty, traditionally English area. This is Wimbledon Theatre, where we have different shows and musicals every week, and it's the biggest theatre in London. It's where Prince Charles held one of his birthday parties, so he could fit in all his friends and family. And we're lucky to have so much green space. Wimbledon Common, 500 hectares of beautiful green spaces where we can take the children for activities and sports. And yeah, expensive shopping. As I said, it's an expensive area. We have lovely designer shops. And of course, the tennis. And some of the children might be lucky enough to be here while the tennis is on. It's on definitely this year. We're very excited about it. We're looking forward to it. So that's it on Wimbledon. I will leave you all now and hand back to Adam.
Thank you very much, Jane. I'm just going to restart our presentation. Can you see this one with the two girls? Is that the picture? Okay, excellent. So just to show you a little bit, these are one of the things that we did last summer is we made little models of some of the places that the kids went to. I mean, this Big Ben is quite small, but the girls were very, very proud of it. I'm going to show you a couple of other things that we're doing in Wimbledon, but just before we get there, there's one thing that we haven't mentioned. So all travel in London is included in this course. So all students get travel cards for the whole week that they are there with us. So if they need to take a bus, it's free. Anytime we go anywhere with them, it's all included. Okay, and so we have, as well as this, we have another program that is running in Wimbledon this year for juniors, well, for juniors and adults, because this is a family holiday program. This is where a parent or grandparent and their child can come to study in Wimbledon together, and we kind of look after the child. Now, the minimum age for that is 8, so it's 8 to 15 for the child. There's no minimum age for the, well, the minimum age for the adult is 18. And obviously this is in Wimbledon. It actually runs at the same time as our Juniors in Wimbledon course, although the two courses are separate. So we have different amounts of tuition for parents and for children, because on 2 afternoons a week, when the parent is in class, we take the children out to various different places locally. It's a different program to the Juniors in Wimbledon, because we take them, for example, to a local city farm, or to some of the gardens that are around here in Wimbledon. It's a different type of program, this one. Still a very exciting one, and still very practical, because actually a lot of the things that the children are doing, that's not project-based learning, that is that's not problem-based learning, that's project-based learning, which means we say to them every week, we want to come up with some kind of project. It might be, a lot of them are environmentally themed, so it might be going to make a bee hotel, for example, or looking at different ways that we can increase biodiversity in the school. So there's a lot of different things that we do with this family holiday program in Wimbledon. However, I am now going to move on. There will be questions. There will be time for questions at the end. If you have any questions, then you can use the chat, or you can use the Q&A as well. So we're going to move on now to Lord Wandsworth College, which we're all very much looking forward to getting back to finally this summer. To give you an idea, so these are our proposed excursions. One of the things that I've heard from some of you, so some of you who have been to Lord Wandsworth for a few years will have noticed that normally the excursions are the same at the same time. This year that's not the case. We've changed the excursions around. We're going to different places. We're going to Portsmouth for the first time. We've changed our tour of Oxford. We're going to see different parts of London, but anybody who stays for 1 week in our centre in Lord Wandsworth will go to London at least once. Okay. And this is what our nationalities look like the last time we were able to run Lord Wandsworth College in 2019. We had 32 different countries represented, so an outstanding nationality mix. And most of these are individuals. We take small groups, but only small groups, so that we can keep this nationality mix up. Right. Some of the things that we do at Lord Wandsworth. So in the afternoons, I mentioned that there's basically every afternoon they're doing some sort of sport or other activity, and we have excellent facilities for all of these sports: football, tennis, basketball, volleyballs, swimming. You can see the swimming pool. We have badminton, rounders, table tennis, all kinds of things. We have a dance studio, and excellent people who are going to take these sessions and teach the kids as well. But we know that not all kids are into sport, and so we are also offering every single day different activities which don't have to do with sport and are not just cutting out little pieces of paper, because again, we are including a lot of environmental things in this course. So exploring the local environment, Lord Wandsworth is amazing for exploring the environment. We also have singing workshops and drama and cooking and board games and all kinds of things to add to making masks. And if that's not enough, then we offer a choice of 2 different optional activities at Lord Wandsworth College. As I've already mentioned, students can either choose to play tennis with a professional tennis coach, or they can go to a local stables and have horse riding and a little bit of work with stable management and some lovely horses. Okay, Fiona, I think we're back to you to talk a little bit about accommodation at Lord Wandsworth.
So accommodation here is different to the accommodation at WSE Juniors. It's the British boarding school experience. So think Harry Potter. Students will be sharing 1 to 5 students per room. Most students will be in 2s and 3s and 4s. Again, we don't encourage students to go into single rooms, but on occasion you may have a student who wants to, possibly an older student. So they're all mixing together, they're making friends for life in this kind of environment when they're in their bedrooms and chatting away. It's a safe environment. We have 24-hour staffing for students, so anything at all that comes up, if a student's feeling a bit lonely or homesick, then we're there to jump in. Again, everyone on site and the staff is safeguarding trained. And we know how to deal with all kinds of eventualities. It's huge. Lord Wandsworth campus is absolutely huge. I think it's the biggest boarding school campus in Europe, and that also makes it extremely safe. Wherever you look is our grounds and where our school is. So there's safety all around us. We're also very well staffed. We have huge numbers of staff to students, which means that there's always someone accessible and available to talk to students. We have designated house parents who are, the house parents in place are extremely experienced and really welcoming for the kids. They really make it a real life-changing experience for them. In the residencies, we have large common areas. There are sofas, there are games, TV, table tennis, etc. So lots for them to do in their downtime. There's also access to the kitchen. We provide evening snacks and things for the kids as well. And also, of course, the laundry is provided for students. So I think, again, we've got a few photos. This is the boys' house here, where in the past we've had all of our boys staying with the house parents. Absolutely beautiful. It's so nice, and so nice inside as well. And then the next one just gives you an idea of what the rooms look like, with their desks and their notice board, etc. They're their wardrobes with their suitcases and stuff. And then I think there's another one. So that, and this was, I think, a few years ago. This is real live students. I remember these students actually playing the piano, playing table football, etc. So really nice experience for them. I think the kids love being in the boarding houses and find it a real English experience, I think, as well. I think that's it from me again for the juniors from LWC. Over to you again, Adam, is it?
Can do. That's basically our offering. I think Jane is going to take a few questions.
So I was just going to come in on the UK requirements, which obviously are changing all the time. But at the moment, for let me just, sorry, my screen has just frozen because I was just double checking on the government website, which I do all the time. So children aged 17 and under do not have to take any COVID-19 tests and do not have to quarantine on arrival in England. So it's different for children and adults. Today we're focusing on the children. The children are the least complicated. So no travel tests and no quarantine. And this applies to vaccinated and unvaccinated. So we'll keep an eye on that. Things are changing all the time, but in the UK, we think they're definitely continuing to change in a positive way. We don't think we will be going back to the negative way. So just, I was going to outline that for you. I was just also going to say that Fiona and I were at Lord Wandsworth a couple of weeks ago. It's looking wonderful. It's absolutely beautiful. The grounds look as if they've been cutting the grass with scissors. I mean, they take such care. And it was glorious to be there. And they've got some great plans for these 500 hectares of countryside and woodland and so they're setting up special places where in a couple of years' time students will be able to do outdoor survival activities and camping and that kind of thing. So Adam, you'll be hearing a bit more of that when you go down. So that environment is just glorious and healthy and wonderful and puts children back in touch with what's around them. So very important, I think, in current times. So just having a look at the Q&A now. What's the protocol if a child gets sick with COVID during their stay? So it's different for the two locations. So Fiona, I'm going to hand that one to you.
I think the first thing to say is that if a kid is sick, then obviously we want them to not attend classes and to remain at home and get better, and we will do everything that we can to aid that. With COVID, we follow the regulations at the time. So at the moment in the UK, but they're talking about changing it, it's a 5-day minimum quarantine period. Obviously, as I say, if the student is sick, then we would have staff on site at both host family accommodation and also the house parents at Lord Wandsworth, looking after the kids, making sure that they're safe, communicating with us, communicating with parents and agents. To be honest, that we've been absolutely fine so far, and as Jane said, we've been open all the way through. So I think, you know, as I say, we will follow the protocol at the time and the guidance there, but we don't see it as being a problem going forward. As Jane says, things are getting better and better. So we have all the staff in place, we have trained first aiders, and we would ensure that the student is as comfortable as possible, and we would be monitoring them. And that is the same in both sites. But hopefully any kind of COVID case would be mild, if not asymptomatic. And we would take the necessary steps to make sure that they're safe.
Just to come in and say, we have had, of course, we've had quite a few students over the past 2 years sick with COVID. We have COVID. I'm inventing a new illness. COVID. We have all the quarantine. We have everything in place here. Quarantining in the host family, making sure that they're looked after, etc., etc. So, you know, we are very experienced at this. We're very used to it. We have a very strict testing regime here in school. We still test every day before we come in for the staff and the students. We've had no cross infection here at WSE for the last 2 years. Everybody who's caught COVID has caught it outside the school. So, you know, we're really, really strict on cleanliness, on safeguarding, and on looking after the students when they have COVID. So we don't see that as being an issue at all this year.
I'm just going to add a little bit to that. Thank you, Jane. So at Lord Wandsworth, we will have a designated sick bay. So if there are students, there will be a room for them to go in that they're not sharing with COVID positive and COVID negative students. We will also offer something for them online. So we've actually been running classes both online and hybrid. Obviously, if a student is sick, it's a bad time for the student because they want to be making the most of their time with us. So we understand that. And we want to give them as much as we possibly can. So they will be involved in our online things. We will get them involved in things in the evening as well, providing they're well enough, of course, to attend these things online. We're not just going to leave these kids alone. Okay, we will be monitoring them. We will be involving them in our activities.
Right, so I don't think we have any more questions. That was Vera's question. So last chance for questions. I can't see who's here, so I don't know who's out there. It's been quite a long time since we did webinars. This was part of our daily life a year ago, but I've got out of the habit now. I'm used to seeing people face to face. I was even lucky enough to be at Alfie Malaga recently, meeting some of our agents there, and it was just wonderful. So I'm looking forward to doing more travel and seeing you all again soon. Oh, there's a question there on the vaccination, Fiona. That's one for you.
Do you require juniors to be vaccinated? Again, we follow the UK government advice. So at the moment, no, we do not ask students for their vaccination status. We can't do that. And I do believe that every country is quite different as well. So that's my short answer there. However, as Jane said, regardless of vaccine status, as we understand, the vaccine protects us ourselves. It does not necessarily mean that it protects others as much. I could be wrong with that, but we're taking every other measure possible anyway. So currently in school, for all of us, we're all wearing masks. Jane's not got her mask on because she's sitting in an office by herself, just in case you think I'm not telling the truth with that. But she'll have her mask to hand. I very often walk into that office and she's sitting by herself with her mask on. So we've all got masks on all the time in school. And as Jane said as well, we're testing every single morning before a student or a staff member enters the building, so we catch any cases before they come in and have a chance to spread, regardless of any vaccine status of anyone.
Just going to come in on that when Fiona says we can't ask. Legally, we are not allowed to ask people's vaccine status in the UK. It's one of the sort of protected things about your personal data. So we are legally not allowed to ask, and we're also legally not allowed to say that people cannot come to school if they're not vaccinated. Again, that's a legal situation in the UK. So no school in the UK will be able to ask that question. So just double checking, no more questions. So that's it then. We will leave you all to get on with the rest of your day, whether it's your evening and you're going home now to put your feet up after work, or whether you're facing a busy day in the office. It's been lovely to virtually see you all. Thank you very much for joining us. We will send out the slides to all the attendees, and any questions, contact Patrick or any one of the rest of us. So goodbye, everybody. Have a lovely day.
Thanks, everyone.
Lovely seeing you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.